Hello, my name is Anton Kleshev. I'm a professional software architect with 15 years of software development experience. Today we're going to be talking about how to properly plan a software project using Agile methodology. Before we start, please like, share and subscribe to not miss any future videos. We have a lot of stuff planned about planning, ready to be released to this channel very soon, so stay tuned. Okay, let's get into it.
Agile methodology is a common project management approach designed to deliver a project sequentially in a dynamic and flexible manner. In the software development world, it is usually represented through the following steps. Step number 1. A big project goal is formulated. Step number 2. High-level planning and analysis are performed for the big goal. The estimate provided in this phase has high uncertainty and should only approximately define the amount of resources and timeline required to execute the project. Step number 3. A smaller tactical goal is formulated. Step number 4. Detailed planning is performed for the technical goal. Comprehensive estimation and decomposition help clarify which resources are required at the moment to cover the immediate short-term needs. Step number 5. The technical goal is executed. Once it is complete, the revision is made to adopt any new requirements or changes. They are adopted in the big goal and the next technical goal. Step number 6. The cycle repeats until the big project goal has been implemented. The main advantages of Agile approach are breaking down detailed planning into phases as opposed to a single planning session before the project begins, saves time in the beginning of the project and creates flexibility later on because requirements are changed pretty frequently during the project execution. And also, planning and delivery of technical goals enable project stakeholders to receive continuous feedback from users and adjust the project requirements and estimates on the fly. Let's review an example. Suppose our big project goal is to build a multi-department e-commerce platform for selling consumer goods. The project team has formulated the following requirements for the platform. First, it should consist of two departments, food department and toys department. Second, both departments should have their own unique websites. And third, the reporting should be consolidated into a single database and have a single user interface. By having only those high-level requirements on the table, a lot of questions pop up in mind. For example, what will be the design of those websites? What are the specifics for the reporting? But at this phase, we don't need to answer those questions because our estimate will be vague and include uncertainty to cover potential risks. We can use assumptions to create the decomposition and estimate resources and high-level schedules. Let's start with decomposition. To create a project design, I'll be using a tool called Deep Planner that simplifies many steps in the process and makes it partially automated. For high-level planning of the big goal, we need to plan on a big scale, for example, a year. I will be using yearly deliverables when entering the data into the system. Let's enter business features. In our case, a business feature is the name of the big goal, multi-department e-commerce platform for selling consumer goods. As a developer, I decompose the initial requirements into system components and activities, using a lot of assumptions and high uncertainty. I should enter those building blocks into the system and attach it to the defined business feature. Alright, let's finish and publish the decomposition. Now on to the next step. Once the decomposition is defined in the system, we can learn our high-level effort by looking into the effort analysis tab. However, it is not too representative because it doesn't answer the question of how many teams might need or what approximate delivery date can we count on. To learn this information, we need to build a schedule. Fortunately, it is quite an easy way to do it with the app. Let's create a yellow schedule and enter all deliverables for the basic team setup. Let's ask the app, and this is quite important, to adjust for the uncertainty factor in our estimates to limit the risk. Alright, all done. Our schedule was generated automatically, and we have published it. Let's generate a report. Here we can see key metrics, such as level of effort and an approximate delivery date if we execute the plan according to the timeline it suggests. Those values would be planning results for the first step, creating a high-level plan for the big goal. Now let's say we finished planning for the big goal, and we want to start planning for a tactical goal. This is the time when project managers and stakeholders, together with the technical lead, define the first realistic demo everyone can look at and provide feedback on. For example, a project manager looking at the yellow timeline can decide that it may be useful to prioritize the food department website, and the tech lead can accept this as a priority. To implement the technical plan, we need to zoom in under quarter planning and add a quarterly deliverables. Let's switch back to the decomposition tab and add the business feature food department website as a quarterly deliverable. Now let's define our quarterly system components. In our case, we know that those yellow deliverables fit into a single quarter, so they can just be duplicated from the year with a quarterly planning horizon. At the same time, we update all activities on the Activities tab, which should now map to the quarterly deliverables. The deliverables for later phases can be left unchanged. Here we can see how part of our project becomes defined more precisely, while the other part remains to be planned on a high level. Now let's create a quarterly schedule. Let's add the quarterly deliverables into the schedule. We need to ensure that the timeline matches the timeline we defined on the yearly schedule to ensure execution according to the high-level plan. We can see that this is the case in our schedule timeline. Let's publish and review the report. Okay, we can see the key milestones and the scope of work and resources for our first quarter. Quarterly planning is complete. Now let's consider a more complex scenario where we need to plan for an iteration. Iterations are shorter time spans, for example, 2-week goals that allow for even more flexibility. It enables doing more frequent releases and iterative testing. Let's switch to the decomposition tab and look at the system components. We know that we need to deliver certain components to achieve our quarterly goals, but they are too big for iteration planning. Before we can use them for building a schedule, we need to break them down into smaller parts. Let's do it. We create 3 child iteration system components for the quarterly system component centralized online store database. Those are create business sketch for sales reporting, create business sketch for inventory reporting, and create business structure for storing the data. We assign different activities to those components accordingly. During this planning phase, we can also make our planning more precise and less uncertain. I will add business analysis activities that I didn't add earlier during the high-level planning phase. Now our activities and estimates are more certain. Okay, once this is done, let's publish the new decomposition and create an iteration schedule. Let's add the iteration deliverables that we defined earlier to the schedule, publish the schedule, and look at the schedule report. Alright, in the report we can see the precise plans with teams and key milestones for each iteration. We can now easily create activity tickets and start working on those activities for our tactical goal. Let's return to our yellow schedule for a moment. Let's update the deliverables data for the schedule. The system actually accounts for the new changes and updates the level of effort according to the decomposition hierarchy. We can see that the new iteration level of effort is now used and our yearly deliverables timeline has slightly updated. And the last thing to mention here is changes adoption. This is where Agile shines. Let's say after the delivery of the food department website, it became important to make a few adjustments in the toys department website and add more features into it. It's not a problem at all. We need to go into the toys department system components or activities, add the necessary items we want to adjust, and publish the change. Next, we update the schedule with new changes and generate a report with a new estimate. We should do it for yearly, quarterly, and iteration plans accordingly to reflect the changes in all schedules. The app will generate new numbers, which are also new key milestones for us according to the new plan and feedback. Estimates can increase and decrease, and with that, some business adjustments can be required along the way.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, please share it and press the like button. It makes it easier to share the knowledge. Have a great day.